Again, so you'll need 2 blocks, and you could grab a strap. You might want your strap at some point. I don't think it's it's not in my lesson, but you might want it. And your sticky mat, and then the ability to come to some wall space, and we'll meet on our backs. Or just take a few minutes to settle in, whatever that looks like for you. And I'll guide here momentarily, but maybe you want to warm up through your spine and your hips, your pelvis. So even though we are concentrating on a kind of a particular area of the body, and we'll do a lot of work in the upper chest and back and shoulder girdle, we do have a full body practice. So allow yourself maybe some pendiculation, stretching through both feet. Okay, and if you know that you are potentially tight in the shoulders, you might take some variations that I suggest for some of these movements. But let's take opposite elbow with opposite hand, or slide out opposite wrist with opposite hand, and then bring that back behind your head, if that's possible. And I'm going to scoot my body so that my arms are kind of off my mat, and I have the ability to slide that whole business. And then I'm just going to slide one shoulder back as I move my knees in the opposite direction. Come back to center and slide. So as I move, let my knees fall over to the left, I slide my right shoulder back in space. And come back. Head can get involved as well. Knees to the right, slide, left shoulder, left elbow back. So I'm just sliding my elbow back as the knees go in the opposite direction. If you started with hand to opposite wrist, you might try hands to opposite elbow. It's a little tighter, a little bit more flexibility required in the shoulders. Come back to center, take your arms out to the T position. You can leave your knees bent, resting your knees together. We will involve the whole body here as we move, but bring your right fingers in toward your palm. So you're kind of closing your palm. Then bring your hand towards your wrist, and then slide everything across your chest. Right hand comes all the way over, palms touching, right palm to left palm. Then turn your back of your hand to the floor, fingernails to the floor, and sweep above your head back to the starting position. Okay, curl your left fingers into your palm, reach your fingers, so bend your wrist and reach your fingers towards your forearm. You'll feel a little engagement in the forearm there. Then bend your elbow, and then bring your left hand to your chest, all the way across over to the right hand, palms touch. Then turn your hand so that the fingernails, the back of your hand, can just reach along the floor, making a big rainbow action. Good. We'll try that a couple times on each side. You can speed it up a little bit, but just be very intentional here about warming up the whole shoulder area with this big sweeping motion. So you come across your chest first, palms touch, turn the back of your hand to the floor, and sweep your arm all the way back to the starting position. One more on each side. Good, then bring your arms back to the goalpost position. And press into your forearms, press into the floor as you draw pubic bone away from navel. And then as you round your back towards the floor, bring your forearms, palms together right above your chest. So it's kind of like a clamshell. So we open up on the inhale, press your forearms into the floor and draw pubic bone away from navel. So a little arch in the back. Exhale, press your low back towards the floor and bring your arms together. So inhale and exhale here. If you want to involve your legs in any way, the rest of your torso, you can. And make this pretty intentional so you really feel the action in the shoulders. You really feel what's happening with the shoulder blades, back body. Good, then we'll go a couple more times. And then you can bring your knees into your chest, take your hands to the front of your top of your shins, roll to one side, head comes off the floor, turn your gaze down towards the floor. Roll back through center over to the other side, pick your head up off the floor and look down at the floor. So you're getting some rotation in the neck. Roll back to the other side. Lift your head, look down at the floor. Open the legs, get the roll going. Turn and look at the floor. Yeah, there we go. One more time, each direction. Good. Then we come back to center, take the feet to the floor. Reach your arms behind you, backs of your hands to the floor. And now legs long, press through the right heel and reach the right arm long. Release, press through the left heel and reach the left arm long. Okay, so just back and forth a few times. Some nice opening in the side ribs. And through the whole side waist. Good. And then we'll just take, roll onto one side and press up to the table position. So knees underneath the hips and hands underneath the shoulders in table. And take a few rounds of cat-cow here. And just not thinking too much about your cat-cow. But now I want you to bring your hips back towards your heels and pick up your right hand, set the pinky edge of your hand down on the mat and roll into the inside of the hand. Go to the left hand, set the pinky edge down and then roll into the inside. All right. Okay, now with your hands, fingers spread nice and wide. Imagine you have two jar lids underneath your hands. Right hand is isometrically moving towards the right side of your mat, the left hand towards the left side. That's what we want with the hands. And then bend the elbows, scoop the elbows in towards one another and re-straighten your arms. There we go. There we go. Now cat-cow, resuming. And as you come into cow, feel like you're pulling the hands back isometrically against the mat as you pull your chest forward. And then as you come into cat, press the mat away. So you're isometrically pressing your hands forward on the mat. So as you inhale, you're isometrically drawing the hands back towards your knees. That's the cow. And as you come into cat, you're isometrically pushing the mat, the hands forward on the mat. Okay, so keep all that engagement. It's kind of tiring, but we really want to be super intentional here as we move through this cat-cow. with good, strong engagement with the hands. You could take some circles as you do the same thing. So on that inhale, you're drawing the hands back towards you, and on the exhale, pushing the hands away. If you're circling with your cat-cow, take it in the other direction. And then we'll come back to center. And then as you, on your next exhale, drop your forearms to the floor. Reach your hips back towards your heels, towards child's pose. Inhale, come back up to cow. Exhale, press into cat. Find a neutral spine. Now inhale, sweep the right arm up. Exhale, reach as far forward as you can, placing your hand at the top edge of your mat as you let your left forearm come down to the floor, reach your hips back towards your heels. This, you should feel a sensation in your underarm, all through the inner seam of the right arm. Good. Next inhale, slide your hand back as you press up into cow. Exhale, round, press into cat. Neutral spine. Inhale, sweep the left arm up. Reach forward with it like you're trying to touch something way far away, and then set your hand down on the mat way out in front of you. Bend your right elbow, set your right forearm on the floor. Keep the left hand where it is, maybe clawing the mat with your fingertips. Good, take one more round of breath here. And then on your inhale, you slide that hand back, come up into cow, sorry. And then press and round into cat. And then we're gonna do that a couple more times. So you find a neutral spine, inhale, the right arm sweeps up and open. Reach as far out as you can. And as you set your right hand down, left forearm comes to the floor. Hold that right arm in place there by pressing fingertips into the floor, into the mat. And then on your next inhale, you come up to cow, round to cat, neutral spine. Inhale, sweep the left arm up, turning to look at your bicep. Then exhale, reach as far forward as you can. Set the left hand down, set the right forearm down. Keeping the left hand in place by gripping with your fingertips. Nice opening in the armpit of the left. And then you slide the left hand back in place. Now one more on each side on your own. And finish with a couple of rounds of the cat-cow. Then you can set back to your heels and take a couple of blocks here or a large block, and sit in Virasana with the block between your ankles. Block between your ankles. And let's inhale and sweep the arms up. Palms face one another, draw lower ribs in. And on your exhale, press the palms away and let the arms sweep back down to your sides. Inhale, sweep up, palms face one another, keep low ribs tucked in. Exhale, turn palms out. And let the arms slowly come down. Okay, a couple just rounds of that, just warming up the shoulders, nice and intentional here. Spine is nice and long. Low ribs stay in. Inhale. And exhale, palms away, press out. Good. Very nice. And then we'll inhale, come up onto the knees, standing on our knees. You can keep the blocks where they are. And as you exhale, bring your hands behind your sacrum, either interlacing the fingers or taking opposite wrist with opposite hand. Good. And then bowing forward, allow your arms to come off your back. You don't have to go all the way to the floor, but you could take your forehead to the floor and reach your arms off your back, squeezing shoulder blades together. Wherever you are, next inhale, sweep yourself up, bring your arms up overhead. Take your time, you might be a little dizzy, and exhale, just let your hands land in heart center. And lightly press fingertips together here. Just lightly press your fingertips together. Feeling some action in the hands, good. And then release your hands down to your sides again. And now interlace fingers together, opposite orientation. Inhale as you fold, inhale as you reach, exhale as you fold. Bring your arms off your back body. And if you conveniently have the blocks right here between your ankles, you can squeeze the blocks with your ankles. And then next inhale, press yourself back up on your knees, reach up. Take your time, you might be a little dizzy. Exhale, hands to heart center. Press fingertips together. Just a little action, 20% effort or so. Have some space between your prayer hands. And then release. Now we take the hands behind the back, but now just the finger pads touching. Finger pads touching, elbows will be bent. Reach the arms off the back body as you fold forward. Maybe you can straighten the arms or attempt to. Fingertips touching. And then inhale, sweep up on your knees. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. And now if you've got those blocks between your feet, you're going to scoot them out of the way. And bring the right foot forward so that you're in 90-90. And bring both hands to the front of your thigh. Coming into a lunge. If you need to get some padding under your knee, go ahead and set that up. We'll come into the lunge here. Keep the pelvic floor lifted, and now leave your left hand on your right thigh and inhale, sweep the right arm up. Bring it back. Thumb in towards the midline of your body like you're hitchhiking. And take your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Pull against your thigh with your hand. Resist back with the thigh. Low ribs come in. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale, sweep the arms back. Up above your head, come back to the 90-90. And then exhale, hands down around the front foot. Turn the back toes under. Reach your hips back until you can release the front foot and come to downward facing dog. Pedaling through your feet here. Find that same good position with the hands. Bend your elbows. Pull your elbows in towards one another and re-straighten your arms. Let your head hang between the biceps. And then inhale, come forward to cow. Exhale, round and press into cat. Bring your hips back towards your heels. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Resting on your waist now, bring the left foot forward in a 90-90 on the other side. Hands to the top of your thigh towards the knee. Coming into the lunge now. Keep the pelvic floor lifted in this lunge. Stay nice and tall. Leave the right hand where it is and inhale, sweep the left arm up, then back. And the hitchhiker thumb pointing towards the midline. Take your right hand to the outside of your left leg. Press with the leg against the hand and resist back with the hand. Isometric. We're working the whole shoulder girdle here. For 3, 2, 1, then inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands down around the front foot. Turn the back toes under. Lift the back leg. Hips come back so you can release that front foot. And you're in downward facing dog. Good, let's bend through the knees, one knee at a time in the downward dog. And then come into a nice strong downward dog. Inhale, reach the right arm off the floor, reach the fingertips towards the front of your mat with your palm in and release. And then shift your weight to the right and lift the left arm, reaching forward with the left arm and release. Next, inhale, drop your knees, come to cow. And then exhale, forearms to the floor first. And release your hips back towards your heels. Child's pose. Great stuff. Then inhale, slide yourself forward on your mat so you can come all the way to your belly, resting your hands one on top of the other and your forehead on your hands. Okay, and here, just do a few pelvic tilts. So on the inhale, you sort of pull your navel away from the floor, pubic bone towards navel, and on the exhale, you're gonna press your belly into the floor, pubic bone away from navel. You know, we do it on our back, so we're just doing it here on the tummy, some pelvic tilting. If it feels better to bend your knees, you can bend your knees. Just a few pelvic tilts. Okay, and then we'll take legs to the floor and we'll bring arms out in front, forehead on the floor. Let's go ahead and just take a couple of lifts, opposite arm, opposite leg. So on the inhale, lift right arm, left leg, and set that down. And then inhale, lift right leg, left arm, and set it down. Just go back and forth a few times here. Head can stay down on the floor. Make sure your movement is contained in your breath. Really, our practice, if we're really using our breath effectively, then our whole breath practice is a pranayama practice. Good, then we'll come to forehead on the floor. Bring your hands behind your back and interlace your hands at your low back. Press your feet into the floor. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders and reach your hands towards your feet, straightening your arms as much as possible. Good. Keep the back of your neck long here. Lift your legs. And you can keep trying to lift your arms off your back for 3, 2, 1. Release your arms to your side. Turn one cheek temple to the mat, softly rocking hips back and forth. And then take it to the other side. Good, we'll do a couple rounds here. So coming back to forehead on the floor. Interlace fingers at your back, or take opposite wrist with opposite hand. And put your fingers in the opposite orientation. Lift your head and shoulders, straighten through the arms as much as possible, and reach your arms off your back, lift your legs. Squeeze the shoulder blades together for 3, 2, 1, release, hands to your sides, resting head and shoulders on the floor, soft movement through the hips, and turn the other way, resting temple, side of your face on the floor. Good, we'll come back to the starting position, and now bring your hands behind your back, fingertips touching, just your fingertips. Reach your head and shoulders up, not going to go as far. Elbows are going to probably be a little more bent. Fingertips are touching. See if you can reach your arms off your back. Straighten your hands towards the floor. Lift your legs. Woo! Fingertips touching for 3, 2, 1. Release. Temple or shoulder, or temple or cheek to the mat. Turning your head in one direction, maybe moving through your sacrum or some windshield wipers, and then other side. Coming back to center, bring your hands underneath your low ribs or underneath your shoulders, and press yourself up. Coming back to a seat just to look at position of the arms up here. So we're going to be back on our belly, and you're going to have your arm in the goalpost position, so a 90-degree bend at the elbow. And we're going to we'll start with the right side on the floor. So if you want to watch for just a second here, the right arm will be in the goalpost position. And I'm going to start on my belly, and my arm is into the floor. I'm going to take my left hand and roll myself onto my right side body. And I'm going to press with my hand, press with my forearm into the floor. Pressing into the floor. You'll feel this work. And then I'm going to roll back onto my belly. So let's everybody come to your belly. Put the right arm in the goalpost position. You'll roll onto your right side body. It's not completely on the side body, but you'll feel this in your shoulder. So you might be back a little bit further towards the floor than I am. Press your right arm into the floor. Press, press, press. Left hand is just helping you balance, helping you stay up. Press your arm into the floor for 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center. And now we'll take the other side. So left arm is in the goalpost position. We roll onto the left side body, press that arm into the floor. Really feel the work there. Feel the work pressing into the floor. Right hand is sort of helping us stay on the side body for 3, 2, 1. Release. Come back to center. Take both arms alongside your body. Let your shoulder tops just relax down to the floor. You could take a windshield wiper here, moving head side to side. Just taking a little bit of a break in the effort, okay? And then we'll come back to the center, and now I'm going to put my right arm back in that same position. Goalpost arm, but now I'm going to lift it off the ground. I'm going to hover it. Left hand presses me towards the side body. I can't go as far. I've got this right arm hovering. Ooh, yeah. For 3, 2, 1, release. Both arms down to your sides. Let the shoulder tops relax into the floor. Maybe a couple of windshield wipers. And then we're gonna take the other side. So here we go. Left arm in the goalpost position, hovering off the floor. Right hand helps us press towards the left side body. The arm is hovering. Oh, I'm pressing towards that. I can't get as far and away. There's a big work here in the shoulder. And for 3, 2, 1, release. Let's make a little pillow with the hands. Bend through the knees. Take a few rounds of pelvic tilting. Releasing, or some windshield wipers, releasing any tension that might have gotten into your low back. Okay, and then hands to the low ridge, press yourself up through table. And let's wag our tail a little bit in table. Good, and then we'll bring forearms to the floor, either interlacing fingers or forearms parallel. You decide what is best for your body today. Good. Press into your forearms and bring your shoulder blades away from one another, so protraction. Then let your upper body sink towards the floor, shoulder blades towards one another in retraction. There's not much happening in your waist or lower waist, lower back and hips. It's just up in the upper body. So we press into the forearms, shoulder blades move away from one another. Then we sink heart towards the floor, shoulder blades towards one another. Now, if you have your hands interlaced, just try to separate and put them parallel to one another. Just go for that. It's a little different. And then the next time you press shoulder blades away from one another, can you turn your forearms down towards the floor? Palms are up. Palms are up. And you keep drawing the shoulder blades away from one another. Then sink the heart to the floor, shoulder blades towards one another. Press up again. Keep the back of your neck long here. Now flip your palms back down. Keep the forearms either parallel to one another or go back to the interlacing. Turn toes under, press up to dolphin. Keep pressing your forearms into the floor. Gather your thighs. Really pull the kneecaps up and press and keep lifting the head. Back and neck is long. Keep the head sort of loose here, hanging. Good for 3, 2, 1. Then drop knees to the floor. Bring the big toes together, the heels together, and set your hips back so that you can slide back, sitting now on your heels, sitting on your heels. Good. And if you need to change this up, put a block there, you can, but let's roll shoulders up, down, and back. Give yourself a little hug and twist. Great. And then we'll come forward. We're going to come to some wall space. So you want your mat to be, you want to have the mat set up so that you can use the mat for your feet eventually. But this first part, you won't need to do so. So I'm going to start with my back to you. So my back is to you. And I'm going to take my left arm out parallel to the floor. And then just with my right hand over here, I'm just going to turn my body so my left side is into the wall. Left side into the wall. left arm extended. Now, can you put a little action, instead of just being really passive, press your left finger pads into the wall. And feel that work. Press your left finger pads into the wall. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Yeah, good. And then we'll slowly roll ourselves back in. Take the left arm to 45 degrees. Roll myself open again. And instead of just being completely passive, engage the finger pads into the wall. It'll feel different in your arm, in your deltoid, in your armpit. It'll feel different. So let there be some fierceness here, just enough to engage all through your left side. Good. Then on your next exhale, you're just going to let your arm slide down to your side. Palm stays into the wall. Palm is into the wall. And then you turn towards the open space in your room. Keeping your palm into the wall. Same thing. Press a little bit into the wall with your palm, with your finger pads. As much as you can tolerate here. And then we turn all the way, release everything, and shake out. Bounce the heels. Shake the arms. Get everything to move and shake. And get a little fascial system unsticky. Good. We take the other side now. So facing the wall, right arm out. Just bring your left fingertips out here to help you kind of turn yourself around while you keep the right arm in place. Cup your hand, press into your finger pads. Press into the finger pads with your right hand. You'll feel engagement in the front of the shoulder, through the bicep, the pectorals, the front chest muscles. For 3, 2, 1, and then roll back to face the wall. Bring the arm up to 45 degrees. Turn yourself as much as possible and engage the arm. Engage the shoulder. So the hand is not flat on the wall, but kind of cupped, and you're pressing into your finger pads. I think that works the best. And feel the low ribs stay in. The spine is tall. For 3, 2, 1. Now just let your arms slide down the wall. So it's by your side, palm facing into the wall. This might be plenty of action for you. If possible, you can turn in towards the center of your room. And a little pressure. It's hard to put too much pressure here on the hand. Little pressure into the wall with the hand. Great. For 3, 2, 1, release. Bounce the heels. Bounce the heels enough so that you can let that come all the way up into your body, and it'll shake up your upper body as well. Good. Okay. And now I'm going to have my back to you. For this, you want a block handy. Okay. And I'll have my back to you just because of the orientation of my room and the wall. So I'm going to come with my feet on the mat and my arms up a little bit higher than, quite a bit higher than parallel. And then I'm just going to come into kind of a fold here with my feet back, my arms up wide, up high. And then I'm going to slide my hands down the wall until my arms are parallel to the floor. And I'm kind of in the downward dog. I'm in the downward dog position. So arms parallel. Good, arms parallel. Great, now release your right hand. You're gonna take your block, and the block is kind of in front of the left foot. I take my right hand to the block and I twist to the left. My right fingertips are on the left edge of the block, and I'm isometrically kind of pulling the block back towards center as I twist towards the left. So block is in front of, a little bit more in front of the left foot. I've got my right hand on the block. My right fingertips are kind of on the left edge of the block, and I'm twisting towards the left. Woo! Good, inhale, come back to the downward dog, arms parallel. Let's take a little break here. You can walk your hands up the wall. And just release any tension there in the pecs. I could really feel that in the front of my chest as well as my back. Walk your hands back down so the arms are parallel to the floor. And now the block comes over in front of the right foot. Left hand comes to the block. Outside edge of the block. You can bend your knees here a bit, and if you need to, and then hand to the outside right edge of the block. I'm isometrically trying to scoot the block back towards the center, and I'm pressing into the wall with my right hand. Just enough, get the fingertips to do some work here. For 3, 2, 1, release, take your left hand back up, walk your hands back up the wall. Good, and then walk your feet into the wall. Bring your arms all the way out to a T, so you're into the wall with your arms out to a T. Your front of your body into the wall. Good, and then release, arms down to your sides. Turn and come into Tadasana. Bring the palms to face forward. Pull the shoulder blades down and in slightly. Good. All right, and then release. Bounce your heels. Bounce your heels and let this come all the way through your upper body. Bounce your heels, bounce your heels, bounce your heels. All right, take a wide stance on your mat. Turn your right foot out, turn your left heel out, bend through your knee. Just take an easy warrior 2 stance. Bring your arms out to a T. Turn your palms up. Flex at the metacarpals. So all the phalanges are pointing straight up to the ceiling. Right, then bend your elbows. Bring your elbows behind your shoulders if you can, your thumbs behind your shoulders. It's kind of like you're holding an atlas. You're holding the world on your shoulders. Good. Inhale. Exhale, tip back towards exalted warrior. Inhale. Exhale, keep the elbows back. If you can, tip towards extended side angle. Inhale. Exhale, tip towards exalted warrior. Keep the elbows back. You're holding the atlas. You are the strongest human in the world. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, tip towards extended side angle. Inhale as you come back to center. Exhale, release your arms down to the sides. Turn both feet to face parallel to one another. Hands to hips. Inhale, take a nice long extension through the crown of your head, and then exhale, fold. Bring your hands to the floor and walk your hands forward until you're in Downward dog, upper body. Legs stay wide. Bend your elbows, scoop them in, re-straighten the arms. Hips line up with heels. Head should be nice and relaxed right between the biceps. 3, 2, 1. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend through your knees enough to bring hands to hips or hands to thighs and straighten back up. Turn left foot out and right heel out. Come into warrior 2 on this side. Arms come out, palms are down, then we turn the palms up, flex at the metacarpals. So I had this, the phalanges, my fingers are all pointing straight up to the ceiling. Bend the elbows, bring the elbows back in space, bring the thumbs back in space. It's like I'm holding the world on my shoulders. Inhale here. Exhale, tip towards exalted warrior. Inhale, come back. Exhale, tip towards extended side angle. Keep that upper body in that same, elbows back. Inhale, come back. Exhale, tip towards exalted warrior. Inhale, come back. You got the atlas there, you got the globe. Tip towards extended side angle. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale as you release your arms down to your sides, straighten both legs, turn both feet. Maybe you can bounce your hands on an imaginary floor in front of you and let that come all the way through your shoulders. Inhale, crown long. Exhale, fold. Hands to the floor, walk it out. Downward facing dog with the feet wide. Pull your kneecaps up, everybody. Bend through your elbows, scoop the elbows in and re-straighten the arms. That allows you to get the eyes of the elbows, that funny inside of the elbow where they take our blood, that's facing forward. That's facing forward. Might feel nice to take the hips back and forth here. And then walk your hands back to underneath your chest, bend through your knees, hands to the thighs or to the hips, and press yourself up to standing. Let's heel toe the feet together and bounce the heels. Bounce the heels, let this come all the way through your body. Good. And now we get to practice a balanced posture with that same movement in the hands. So find your right foot spread wide, all 4 corners of the foot. Left foot can rest on the top of your right foot or into your calf, or you want to go big, we'll go into the thigh. Arms out, palms up. Metacarpals, metacarpal flexion there. So fingers are all pointing up at the ceiling, bend the elbows. Find the weight of the world on your shoulders. But now, can you be strong here? Pull the standing leg in tight. Maybe it might feel fun to take a turn, side bend in one direction. Falling out is legal. Good. And then we reach the arms up to the ceiling. Release the lifted leg and set her down. Good. Bounce the heels. Bounce the heels, walk around your space. Ninja hands against your wall. Okay, whatever. Good. And then we'll try the other side. Find some nice grounding in the left foot, right foot to rest on top, to the calf, to the inner thigh. Always different on the side, two sides. So palms up, flex at the metacarpals, bend the elbows, weight of the world. Hold it up. Find your fierceness. Maybe tilting. And back. Woo. And release and bounce your heels, bounce your heels, bounce your heels, shake your legs, come to the top of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, let them float down to your sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms face one another. Exhale, let them float down. I'm doing a little bouncing here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold through the knees, bend, place hands to the floor and step or jump back to downward facing dog. Bend through your elbows, scoop them in and re-straighten. Inhale, rock forward to the high dandasana. Exhale, knees to the floor, reach your hips back, child's pose. Inhale, come up to cow. Exhale, turn your toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Bend the elbows, scoop them in, and re-straighten the arms. Inhale, take the right leg up. And exhale, come forward and bring the right foot between your hands, top of the mat. Exhale, settle. Inhale, come up, crescent lunge, reach your arms up. Exhale, reach the left arm forward and the right elbow back, like you've got a big a bow in your hand. And then reach the right arm straight. Inhale, sweep the arms back up. Exhale, hands down around the front foot. Reach your hips back, release. Right foot comes back, downward facing dog. Bend your elbows, scoop them in, re-straighten your arms. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Press the floor away. Exhale, take your hips back, downward dog. Inhale, reach the left leg up behind you. And exhale as you round and hinge forward, bring the left foot between your hands. Inhale, come up, crescent lunge, reach the arms up. Exhale, you'll reach the right arm forward and bend the left elbow as if you're got a bow in your hand. You're aiming your bow, right? And then you reach the left arm long behind you. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, hands down around the front foot. Hips back, 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 back. So you can release that foot, come back to downward facing dog. Bend your elbows, scoop them in, re-straighten your arms. Inhale, drop your knees, come to cow. Exhale, round through your back, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then from this cat, tops of the feet to the floor, reaching back. Forearms to the floor as you slide back into child's pose. Now you can always put something between thighs and lower legs for your child's pose, but see if you can either get your forehead to the floor or to a block, and then bring your arms alongside your body in full balasana, full child's pose. So there's almost an egg shape to your body here, rounding. Good, now you could stay here. Might be a little tricky if you have a block underneath your head, so you might have to move the block. You take your hands to your heels and roll forward till there's just a teeny bit of weight on the top of your head. Pull your hands against your heels and round your back up towards the ceiling. So most of the weight is on your knees and your shins, just a teeny bit of weight on the head, rounding your back up towards the ceiling, and you should feel nice stretch in your upper back. Good, good, good. Then you can press, take hips back towards heels, hands beside you. Press yourself up till you're sitting on your heels. Feet over to one side, release. Bring your feet out in front of you, sliding yourself to a position that you can take the back of your legs and roll down onto the floor. Bringing knees into chest and taking a few side to side, back to where we started. Good, then coming back to center, can you let your arms just come out to the side, palms up, windshield wiper the knees. Windshield wiper the knees. Maybe slide arms long behind you, legs long. Back to that first movement, pressing through one heel and sliding same arm back. Releasing, pressing through the opposite heel, sliding opposite arm long, back and forth. And then coming into whatever else you need, take, of course, but coming into a final resting position with your either your legs long or bent. If you have the legs bent, you can certainly bring these together. And then resting your hands on your heart / upper abdomen area. And see if you can now come into a softness, a stillness. And in particular, really softening the hands. Soften any holding in your neck and jaw. Soften your face. Any pursing around your eyes or between your brow. Soften your shoulder tops and through your arms and into your hands. A light exists in spring, not present on the year at any other period. When April is scarcely here, a color stands abroad on solitary fields that science cannot overtake, but human nature feels. A color stands abroad on solitary fields that science cannot overtake, but human nature feels. So gazing inward, feeling into your spring, your ideas and things that you're bringing new life to you're bringing birth to. Anything that's needs to be weeded out of the garden, You can let that go. And find that soft light inside. And you can stay on your back as long as you want, or you can roll to one side. Taking a few rounds of breath in this position that we kind of leave the womb, right? So here we are talking about birth again, but find that fetal position on your side. Comfort being held in the womb of the earth. And only when you're ready, you can press up to a seat. You bring the arms out in that expression of both openness, surrender, and softly bring fingertips together. Softly and slowly bring fingertips together. Front of the heart, an open gesture of prayer. Inhale and take a long exhale through open mouth. And we'll inhale to an Om. Namaste.